1 year after Pretty Woman, Julia Roberts was an absolute bona fide movie star. She could pretty much pick any film she wanted by that point, and she picked this. So Sleeping with the Enemy, it was released in 1991. It is directed by Joseph Ruben, stars Julia Roberts and Patrick Bergin, or Bergin, however you pronounce that. Bergin plays a abusive husband. She just gets married to this guy, and it turns out he's not who he appears to be when she first met him, and he becomes really abusive. She leaves, fakes her death, leaves, and eventually he figures it out, goes after her, and they have a bit of a showdown at her new home where she has fallen for some other guy and built a relationship with him, and blah blah. That is pretty much the reaction that you would have got from my wife and I as we watched this together had this film not been so hilarious. Yeah, this film is dull. Like nothing happens. Here's the thing. So my wife and I went away. We went away for the night, and we were in a hotel, and this came on the TV. The point at which it came on was Julia Roberts' character sat on a bus, and she starts relaying her history. You can tell it's her history. She acts like it's some other character, but she starts relaying the history of this woman who's run away to this other woman on a bus. And you get the sense of everything that's happened before that point, based on what she's telling this woman. And then she goes off, she meets this other guy, and then blah, blah, blah. The film happens, and then it ends after about 45 minutes. And we're like, oh, I wonder how much we missed then. So we flipped channels to one of those, +1 channels where it kind of plays what was already playing like an hour or 2 hours ago, and then we watched the beginning of the film. So we watched the second half before we watched the first half, and honestly we felt like everything we saw in the first half we didn't need, because we understood it all based on that one scene on the bus in which Julia Roberts' character essentially fills us all in as to where she's at in life. The first 40 minutes or so of this film could have been condensed easily into about a 10-minute opening, but instead it drags on laboriously. It's like just wading through treacle, and it doesn't give us anything, and the way it plays with time is a bit off as well. So there are times where you're not quite sure, when are we now? Where are we? When are we? What's going on? So it confuses matters. Like as I say, the scene on the bus where she relays all this information to the woman does a better job of telling us what's happened than the actual seeing what happens. After the scene on the bus, like I say, we went back to the beginning to see if we'd missed anything interesting, because it sounded interesting. Ooh, abusive husband and all that stuff, escaping his thrall, and that could have been interesting. That might have been the best part of the film. It wasn't. And you get a really great comedic performance by Patrick Bergin, who cranks it up to 11. I think this scene requires maybe a number 7, around here, number 8, tops. No, number 11. Always 11 with this guy. Like, if you want to see someone drinking from a water fountain in the most sinister way possible, you've come to the right film. We get a showdown towards the end, which essentially says that, yeah, if someone's abusing you, best thing to do, pop a cap in their ass, blow their head off, and you're well within your rights. That's essentially the thesis of the film. We get this other male character who has no reason, really, to fall for this woman. She's really frigid, I think she's got the right to be. She's got every reason to be, given what she's been through, and yet she very quickly lets her hair down and suddenly gets all flirty and relaxed with him. There's this weird scene in this studio where you're just like, that was a sudden change. You sit there watching it and you're thinking, this is funny. It's boring, but it's also funny. Sleeping with the Enemy. Not great, but good for a laugh if you're a couple and you want to watch something together. 2 out of 5 from me. But what about you? Have you seen Sleeping with the Enemy? If so, what did you think about it? Leave your thoughts below. Let me know. And until next time, cracking.